Do you think a strongman federation is needed now with all the arguments going on? From a strongman Slovak fan.
So this is a controversial one right now, with obviously things that have been going on, and not just recently. I think some kind of federation is where the sport's going to eventually have to go. I think athletes need looking after and protecting, and I think the sport needs a bit of protection as well. It's on the brink at the moment where it could get so fragmented. You could have so many different federations and organisers that it just dilutes the legitimacy of contests. I mean, you know, you look at boxing and you look at fighting and various different sports, and they do succeed quite well with various different promoters. But I think it would be nice to have some kind of standard that everyone has to adhere to. And I'd certainly like to be a part of that. I think I'd be a good kind of candidate, along with maybe guys like Brian Shaw. He's got, you know, he's very well respected and understands the sport very well. Zydrunas Savickas, another guy that's, you know, level-headed and understands from all points of view. He's not just looking at it from a selfish point of view. And I like to think that I look at things from every single angle. You know, it's very easy to jump on one athlete and say they were right or they were right and get behind certain camps, but you have to look at things objectively and look at what's best for the sport and look at what's best for everyone. But we definitely need some kind of federation, if you like, or some kind of hierarchy that people have to, you know, or rules that are set down for people to kind of follow, right from the top all the way down to the grassroots level. I mean, strongman now, it's become very popular, and it's become bigger. There's so many people putting on contests. Unfortunately, a lot of those contests are very, very bad and very dangerous, and what we do is risky. So there needs to be some kind of safety measures put in place. I'm very vocal, and I've annoyed a lot of promoters many times having arguments about certain events because I fear for the safety of the athletes. And I'm someone that if I think something's too light, I'll say it, but you do have to think of safety, just like you know, boxing would. We're putting our bodies on the line regularly, and athletes need to be looked after. There's no question about that. Promoters need to be looked after as well, and you know, I think we all do, and there certainly needs some kind of governing body. Who do you think would be good as people on a board of, like, a committee for strongman?
Yeah, I agree. Brian, Zydrunas, you, Magnus Fur.
Magnus Fur, great option there.
I think Samuel Magnusson.
Samuel,
Magnus Samuelson.
Magnus Samuelson.
We're going to have to cut that. He'll never forgive me.
I'm sure he'll forgive you. We won't put you on the board.
No, clearly not.
Yeah, guys like Colin Bryce, he's been around for a long time. He understands the sport. I think he's someone that often gets talked about as like a referee, but he's respected in the sport, and he does understand a lot of. He's got great history in the sport. You know, he really does understand what goes on behind the scenes. But I think it needs to be a committee of lots of different people. You know, Jan Todd, she's another person I think would be. I mean, Terry Todd originally, but Jan knows her stuff. She's a real historian of strength. Understands right from the beginning.
Do you think that sort of federation would need a representative from each?
It doesn't. I guess federation is the wrong word. It needs to be some kind of committee to represent the sport. So rather than a federation that's representing themselves, and at the end of the day, it's about putting their contest on, making money. You know, it needs something that actually puts the athletes first and puts the sport first. And that's, and you know, I'm in a funny position. I try to work with all the different promoters. You know, I've worked with Giants Live, you know, World Ultimate Strongman. I've competed at the Arnolds. I'm happy to work with anyone. It's in strongman, we're not kind of tied into contracts that we're not getting paid. Like, you know, if I was paid $100,000 by a company, then you're happy to be more exclusive to one company. But in the way strongman is at the moment, the money isn't there to do that just yet. So I think you need to be allowed to be a free agent and compete anywhere, but the sport needs looking after. And I think there's certain people that would be very good and understanding of what's happened in the past. You know, some of the newer guys, they don't understand the history, so I think you need older guys that have been there for a long time, you know, work their way up, develop the sport for some of the younger guys right now. But it's a good debate. You know, it's a subject that really needs a lot of talking, because I see things online and people come up with all sorts of ideas, and I've seen, because I've been doing it so long now, you sort of see things recycled and people come up with the same ideas again and again, and you know nothing's going to change unless you have the commitment from everyone. Like in America, for instance, they have their pro and amateur side of things, but being a pro in America is great, but being a pro doesn't mean you get to compete in the world's strongest man.
It doesn't mean anything outside of England.
No, outside of America.
No.
So you could go to America as a Brit. I mean, I could go over to America and I'm not a pro. So does that mean I can compete in their amateur comps, or would it mean I'm you know? I think Donna Moore was given a pro card, and rightly so. You know, she's one of the best female strength athletes in the world. But it's a strange system if not everyone's adhering to it. So there are a few exceptions to the pro system in America. There's a few guys that got to Worlds without having a pro card. I think Jerry Pritchett was an example of that, and there'll be others. You just need to be good and prove yourself. But I don't think the pro is a bad system. It just needs everyone involved. And if you've just got one federation promoting that, then it's a monopoly again, and you can start dictating where athletes can compete and can't compete, and I don't agree with that, because then you're holding back people's potential to win contests, to compete as a sport and earn a living. So it's a long debate, something longer than here. I think it would be a good one to maybe get some guys on and have a chat about.